Welcome to the Creation Evaluation Station. Today, on this episode, we are going to be looking at my first Jurassic World Dominion set. We're going to start with the biggest one. Here it is. It is Giganotosaurus and Therizinosaurus. Attack. If you aren't familiar with this channel, I do in-depth reviews of models and construction kits, both new and old, mostly Lego, but other products as well. I also do reviews and discussions of other creative works such as movies, comic books, cartoons, video games, etc. So make sure you're checking out the timestamps down below to get to the parts that you want the most. That being said, let's start off with the stats on this guy. Once again, there's the front, and this time let's check out the back here. I like the box. I like that there's a lot going on here, and also like this little information tab here. Not a lot of information, but something about the dinos. Give it more of a informative part. And so the set number is 76949. It's for ages 9 and up. Has 810 pieces and retails for $129.99 on the Lego website, and is currently available as of this recording. So let's go open this guy up and see what's on the inside and put it together. Is the contents of the box. We have a pretty thick looking book here wrapped in plastic, and also inside the plastic is the stickers. We have bag 1. We have 2 bag 2s, so that means there's 2 bags for 1 step. We have 2 bag 3s. We have 2, can't tell here, bag 4s, and bag 3s, 1 bag 5. So there's not that many steps with this, but still plenty of parts, especially when you consider multiple bags for 1 step. We have more though. But before I go on to that, I had these shipped to me, and where is here? Here's this one here. Yep, my bag 3. I don't know if my second bag 3, the little one, can tell, but had a hole ripped into it. I don't know if they had too much air in it, or they're using a different. I have a feeling there was too much air in it. The bag popped the weight of the rest of the pieces in here. I had pieces floating around loose, and that's the only one that was open. But I'm pretty sure everything's here though. Of the numbered bags, we also have 3 additional bags. We have 1 bag dinosaur, 2 bag dinosaur, and then a 3rd bag that has just some random parts. That looks like some piping and a plate, a large plate. Why they bag them separate? I could understand bagging up these little pipe pieces just so they don't get lost when you open up the box and spill everything out. But yes, that is everything. Before I get to the numbered bags, let's look at the unnumbered bags. These are not what I thought they were. They're a much stiffer piece. Sure what they'll go with on the side, and then we got a plate. We have our dinosaurs laying here, and definitely a lot of reuse of parts from other dinos. I'm not even sure where. I think this guy is mostly reused parts except for this head and the arms. A lot of these pieces I think came from the Indoraptor, and then the bottom jaw here is just a regular lower raptor jaw, I think. And then you got this big guy, who also has several reused parts. I think, I'm pretty sure those are T-Rex arms. The head, I think, is the Indominus Rex head, but I'm not sure. It looks very similar. The body, however, I think this is unique. Especially with that kind of small sail there. I think the legs are from the Indominus, and maybe the tail? I'm not sure. Tail's pretty generic. It's not the T-Rex for sure, because T-Rex don't have any spikes. But that's all the non-numbered bagged contents. Here we have bag 1. We got some rubber tires, our good old brick separator. It's always in bag 1 if there is one. We have these really large support pieces. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, it's probably used for the tower, but new pieces to me, that's all. There may have been in other sets. I haven't seen everything. Got some lovely plant pieces of 2 different kinds. A lot of plates, a lot of these smooth round slopes. Different pieces here. Not a lot for first bag. Got 2 people over here. Bunch of claws, probably for our dinosaur. So you actually have to build them. And not too much of interesting note. There's the hubs for the wheels. This must mostly be the vehicle, and not sure. But that is bag 1. So I somehow lost my clip of the second bag, so we will be looking at the instructions and looking at all the pieces there to make up for that. But I thought you might like to look at this. It's the whole entire wave on this page, and I do intend to cover all of this in due time. So look forward to that. On with the parts. I will be doing this on a more regular basis when I start doing sets that I've already put together. A lot of my older sets. I have all the instructions for them, at least I should have. They have gotten lost to the annals of time, but something you can look forward to. I don't know how best you can do this, and we can always pause the video and look closer at everything to see it all. But on with the regular show. On to bag 3, we definitely have helicopter parts. There's the cockpit, there's engines, and there's the base, landing skids. Got a lot of tiles, especially those are probably the propellers, although these might be part of them. There's the propeller piece there, the main part. Got some wings. A lot of little pieces. We got another character over here. We have some yellow syringes. Usually they're always that kind of green color. They're actually yellow this time. A lot of plates, little wing pieces. Makes sense. Definitely helicopter parts. Probably the whole thing. Got another propeller over here. Controls. Lots of little pieces. A number of weight. Single stud. Got some black ones too. Quite a few pieces in this one. Here we have the 4th bag. We have lots of doorways. Although I guess some of them are supposed to be windows because they're window pieces. We also do have one door piece. These lovely transparent pieces. Plenty of plates. globe window things. Lots of plants. Got 2 more people in here and some whips. I don't know if I have had that newer whip piece yet. A lot of small pieces. We have some prints down here though. Excuse me. I hope one of those is a duplicate, but we'll find out when we put it together. That would be nice. But yeah, a lot of small pieces in here. We've reached the 5th and final bag. We got more of these blue panel pieces. See if they use them the same creative way they did with the tower. We got other smaller blue pieces. Transparent pieces. A lot of transparent blue pieces in this actually. Not too many pieces overall. This is the last bag. It's probably putting the finishing touches on it. And we have one last character, which I believe is Dr. Wu. This is the final bag. Here we have our leftover parts, and there's some great leftover pieces here. This ended up being a duplicate, so we have leftover printed piece. That's always great. We usually end up with syringes, but this one had a yellow and a gray syringe. And we usually get green syringes for whatever reason, but this is nice that we have something different for a change. But yeah, there's duplicates of those, there's duplicate control, there's duplicate of this tooth claw piece, what have you. It was claws in this set, but it could be a tooth. And we have an extra whip, which that's just great. Always can use some extra whips. And there's some other, doohickeys and thingamabobs in here. Mostly, small dots and tiles and single stud pieces, the usual. But we also have this extra. That's something handy to have, for sure. And then, of course, the obligatory brick separator. Some really nice stuff left over in this one, and a lot too. And here we have half of our cast of characters. I've divided these guys up into the original cast from Jurassic Park that are reappearing in this movie, and the newer characters that are from Jurassic World. Yeah, let's start this with these guys. Alright, we have Dr. Henry Wu. We have Dr. Ellie Sattler, except they don't call her Doctor because they were both doctors. But anyways, Ellie Sattler and then Alan Grant. Whom both had doctorates in the first movie, but for whatever reason they didn't call them doctors here, even though Dr. Wu is definitely a doctor. But these guys, they're pretty nice. Now, they're not wearing their iconic clothing exactly from the first movie, but that's because they're in this newer movie. Obviously, Alan didn't have a gray beard back then, a white beard. That being said, I'm not sure what I think about the paint job on his face there. I mean, I guess it's okay. But Dr. Wu's shirt that's underneath his sweater there, or whatever he's wearing, is definitely not dark enough. Now, his skin color looks good on there. That's coming out well. And so did Ellie's there on her neck. Looks pretty good. Let's just take off their stuff quick and his hair don't want to come off. There we go. but not bad looking otherwise, and just opacity. That tends to be Lego's flaw. They don't. Yeah, the backs look pretty good. Alan doesn't have a face in the back, which makes sense considering he's wearing the hat. The other faces look good. Got scared or angry face for Dr. Wu. Definitely not a friendly face. His front face is a little bit more smug. But, yeah, not bad figures all around. Now let's check out the other three. On to the second half, or the newer cast, I should say. We have good old Owen Grady here, which we've seen about a bazillion trillion times. We have Claire Deering, which we've seen a lot of as well, but not quite as much as Owen. And then we have, I'm not sure if she's a new character, she's Kayla Watts. I don't recognize the name. I know they introduced some characters from in the second movie. I need to rewatch again. I don't know if she was from that or she's an all-new character. It wouldn't surprise me either way. Definitely are going to probably have some new characters. Yes, and considering I've looked at some of the other Lego sets, and there's definitely, absolutely new characters I've never seen before. But let's deal with the ones we have here for right now. Now, looking fairly good. Once again, opacity. This doesn't look too bad, though. I think that's supposed to be skin tone on Owen's, just below his neck there. If that's true, then that's not good. But like the pattern here on her jacket, and her clothing, her torso print, definitely could be used for pretty much anything, I think. I don't know. It's definitely different if it's related to the character or not. But let's give them all haircuts. Plop. 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 Not much new to see there. And let's flip around. Okay, everybody's got two faces. The printing looks pretty good on the back. Yeah, the faces look good too. I don't know if that's a new face for Owen. So many Owen figures. I don't think it is. But yeah, I think the biggest issue is a little bit of opacity here. This looks good, but not quite perfect. The green is not showing up very well through that, but it's not quite white enough. Like, it looks like the wrong shade. And then Owen's, yeah, also not the wrong shade, right shade. The gray is definitely bleeding through that. The green's not, the bluish green of the plastic is definitely not going through that. It's at least a solid color. It just doesn't feel like the right shade. Other than that, these characters are looking pretty good. Got to see the movie, see how accurate it is. I mean, Owen looks like every Owen figure we've seen so far. I do like the belt print there on his legs. Yeah, and I don't know what's going on with her outfit. It's quite busy, though. We'll find out when the movie comes out. We have our first of two dinosaurs here. It's Therizinosaurus, which I do know how to pronounce right, even though the opening of this video I pronounced it wrong. Probably better than some people have pronounced it. Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about this. Well, the inclusion of this dinosaur overall in the movie or whatever, we know very little about this guy. I mean, I'll have to do some research, but maybe they've found another skeleton. But Last I knew, they had only like found the upper arms, which leaves a lot to be desired because a lot of this is just speculation. But regarding this figure itself, I find it interesting that they built the hands are built like this with the claws. I mean, that does allow for some play because you can move them around how you like. It's just a little stiff. The arm is at the wrist, I should say, is at a weird angle, and I think they could have simply solved that by using the upper arms that they used on the bad raptor from the last movie, Indoraptor. I believe they could have used the upper arms from the Indoraptor and then made a special part from the wrist down. And if they used that and made a special part, they could have had wrist articulation, because that guy has wrist articulation, and then had something with buildable claws like this guy does. This guy takes a lot from the Indoraptor. But where it differs is definitely the head, and the head is probably the worst part of this. I mean, it looks good, fine, way it is, but as soon as you start posing it side to side, doesn't matter too much. It looks okay, but you go up and down, and his neck's broken. Up a little bit higher, it's okay. But yeah, what they should have done is, much as I know they like to reuse parts, is made a different body with a neck lower here and a joint there, then had an additional head with a joint there. It would probably work much better for play. Either that or just get rid of that joint, period, and just have a swivel joint like they have on the Raptors, and then put a joint like this at the base of his neck, and have this a separate piece. That probably would have worked better than what we have here. You don't need a hinge here at the base of his neck, but having one at the base of his head so he can look around would be good, and even still a rotating thing would work as well. Overall articulation, it's got that weird neck joint that doesn't work. It has a mouth joint. It opens and closes. I believe that's the regular raptor mouth, lower jaw. I'm not sure about that, but yeah. And its upper arms rotate, back legs rotate with clicker hinge, really stiff. Rest of the fingers rotate now. Fingers, I should say, finger claws rotate creepily. And then we have the tail twist, which I think that's a dumb joint that doesn't even really be needed in these, but that's okay. I mean, maybe kids like to play with the tail, but you know, other than that really wonky neck joint and the fact that we don't know what this dinosaur really looked like, this, you know, isn't a bad figure. I haven't seen what it looks like in the movie yet. I've seen a regular toy of it, and it actually had tail feathers on it. So I don't know what that means for the movie. Maybe it had movies on the tail. Had feathers on the tail. Now it does have a little bit of, looks like feathering, maybe a little, that could be mistaken for scales as well, on its neck. Oh, even its arms. But find that out when the movie comes out, I guess. And it's possible that Lego didn't get the final, you know, design of the dinosaur when they went and designed the set, so it may not have the feathers from because of that. Who knows? Of course, have to wait for the movie to come out. I don't think they've even shown this guy in the trailers yet. I don't remember seeing any of the trailers. But that's okay. It's more to get excited about for the movie. Time for the big boy. Or Gigantosaurus. Titanosaurus is something else. Gigantosaurus. You know, something big. Now this guy reuses parts. We definitely have the front limbs are the T-Rex limbs, and they rotate accordingly. We got the back legs, which I believe also are the T-Rex legs. He has a much bulkier body. There's crest on it. A rotating tail with a click hinge. The very tip of it is rubber, about that much of it. Regarding this back, I'm not happy because there are no studs on this. No studs anywhere. I mean, at least they could maybe put some on his head. I mean, the feet have anti-studs, of course, so it could stand on plates and whatnot. But no studs, so you can't build anything on him. And this, I find, is a big disappointment. Now, I'm not sure if the Indoraptor... I don't have the Indoraptor, unfortunately. Not the Indoraptor. I have the I don't have Indominus Rex. And I'm not sure whether he did... I don't think he shares the same body. I think they did a separate body with this sail. But I don't see why they couldn't have put something on here for studs. Even if they put like 2 studs here and 2 studs on the other side, and you could build like a saddle or something on his back. Something would have been better than nothing. It may have not made this nice and smooth. It may have, they may have had to have a jet come or it jet out just a little bit, but that's okay. These aren't exactly perfectly accurate. I mean, the other dinosaurs have studs on their back, and I'm pretty sure scientists know that dinosaurs do not have Lego studs on their back. So they could have done something here and just put 2 studs on each side of the sail. It would have given us something to work with. This has absolutely nothing, which it pretty much just becomes a plastic dinosaur after that. I mean, yes, it's made by Lego, so you call it a plastic Lego dinosaur. I mean, it can still grip onto things with its hand, but other, I don't know. If you can't build anything with it, off it, or is it really Lego? Other than being a Lego production? I don't know. But yeah, this is my disappointment with this. Probably might take a point off even for that. I mean, this is a big draw to these sets of the dinos, and this guy's a new guy, and there's no studs on him. There are no studs on me, sadly. But you got your neck joint. It rotates. Can go perfectly parallel with the body, and you can go down here. I think the T-Rex neck is a little bit more flexible. Not sure, but I think this does the job. And we have a jaw that opens not once, but twice. It's actually got 2 positions, which is really nice. So I guess it gets the praise for that, since all the other dinos only have open and shut. This guy has open and wide open. But yeah, so that's nice, and the paint job's really nice on it. Sculpt is the only problem I have with the paint job. It's down here, the tail. They didn't paint right to the edge or something, and I think it could have used that just to give it give it a more continuous line. Although I think the back should be painted as well, but I'm not sure about that. But yeah, they should have painted that right to the edge or something. I don't know. Maybe there's a mechanical reason why they couldn't do it. I mean, they do it the rest of the body, but the tail, no. But I guess it sort of has the same issue with these legs, because it only paints it there, not all the way into there. But he's been in quite a bit of fights. You see, he's got some scarring here. There, on his face. On his nose on the other side. He's not symmetrical, which is okay. Gives him more character. So, yeah, mixed feelings on this guy. I like what they did with the head. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the same head as Indominus Rex. It looks like it, so maybe I don't have that to compare it to. Maybe that had double closing hinges as well. Or, not double closing, but double two positions for the jaw. Other than that, I mean, he looks like a nice plastic toy. There should have been studs somewhere on his back. We've got a lot here to cover. So this is just an overview look at things. We got 2 vehicles to look at, 2 buildings to look at. We already looked at the dino, so we are not going to rehash that. But they are there, looking impressive against everything else. Just wanted to say that we're going to be doing each one separately, so I'll talk about things collectively here. The helicopter looks a little goofy on the corner of the building. It's a little too big for it, but realistically, if the building was whole, because the whole building isn't whole, it's like a cutaway view, only it's got 2 sides. So if it had all 4 walls and a ceiling on top, and that helipad was in the middle, it would make more sense. But I understand why Lego did this, because you want access to the interior for play. So you do a cutaway. You don't do the whole building, which a lot of these Jurassic World park sets, whatever, don't have whole buildings, and I understand why. You want to be able to play with them. That's what they're more designed for, play sets than looking accurate. Oh, and on that note, I don't know what all of this is actually part of the movie. Pretty sure the dinosaurs in it. I heard something about the tower being attacked by the Giganotosaurus, so that's probably in the movie. I don't know about this other building and how accurate it is. We will find out when the movie comes out, which is still a little ways off for me anyways. I don't know about you watching this, but if you've seen the movie, then tell me what you think about how accurate this is, appearance wise. I think everything looks good, that's for sure, which we'll talk about more later. But yeah, so I understand the cutaway building aspect of it, and it looks pretty good, from the front and from the side as well, which we'll look at all that closer in a moment. Let's start with the smallest build we have here, which is this ATV. I really think it's a cute little vehicle. It makes sense. Now, it doesn't look super, like, it doesn't represent anything I've seen in an ATV. But it was a pretty fun build, and it's a unique build because I haven't seen one built like this quite yet before. And although it doesn't really represent anything I've seen, it still, looks like a reasonable, realistic looking vehicle, just like maybe a different brand, because not all brands have the same exact styles that I'm familiar with and whatnot. And let's take a closer look. Let's pop off over in here. He was sitting on just 2 studs there, which is just a single seater. It's got hooks on the back for accessories. Why there's a mining pick, I don't know, although there is some amber involved in this set, so maybe they were out looking for amber. We got a nice single light here in the front. I guess probably that's the biggest problem, is this vehicle is all up front and nothing too much here in the back. We definitely make a very tipsy vehicle. It also implies the engines in the front too, which that would definitely cause great issues. We got a different unique build here for the handlebars or controls, which are the little sign pieces or whatever you want to call them. But it's a different use of the pieces. And overall, I still think it's really nice, even though it's a different approach at building one of these, and it does look a little bit front heavy, which would cause some tippage. Yeah, it's not bad. Let's move on to the second vehicle build. I really like this helicopter. It's definitely got a very unique appearance to it and design. Even though if it uses some familiar pieces, like this cockpit hasn't been unused before. You know, same propellers, built up just a little bit different to give it a little bit different look to it, and the same, you know, helicopter landing skids. But these engines on the side don't spin quite as fast as I'd like them to. But I like the very, very different appearance to it. Now this is interesting, is because these are not permanently stuck. They're only there to give the appearance that they are support pieces. And I don't know, it looks cool, and I guess that's important. It doesn't need to really support anything, because these pieces do a good enough job holding everything in place. Now we open up the cockpit like this. We got controllers in there, room for one. Just two studs. Two studs? Or is it zero? Oh no, there isn't any studs in there. So yeah, it's completely smooth in there for them to sit into. So there's nothing gonna be holding your character in, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but it's probably gonna be okay. Let's grab a character. Owen's still in sitting position from the other vehicle. And I suppose by the time you get everything in there, he's not going to go anywhere. Moves around, jiggles a little bit, but you can also fix that by actually having him hold on to these controllers that just fell off. My bad. So that cockpit, moving down the side, it's got some really nice doors that open along the side. Look at that. And it works on the other side as well. Got handles, get storage, can access on both sides. Now we have something in here, and it's some kind of emergency communications or something. Not quite sure what it's supposed to be. This might be important to the movie too. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, there's some decent storage in there. I have to kind of go at an angle because this gets in the way. Yeah, not quite enough space, I think, to fit a figure in there. Let's see, close up that door, stick the one in there. Put his feet up. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you can stick a figure in there. You have to hold up their legs. Can be a hospital carrier, though. I don't think they're actually that comfortable in there. And then moving on to the back. This is all just built up. There's nothing special back here. We got just a single little propeller going there in the back. Built up with some long single stud plates. Got our little tail there, which I'm not sure how accurate that structure is to aerodynamics, but this vehicle looks really nice. Now there's a bunch of stickers that are supposed to go on here. I think this is where most of the stickers go on, and some of the computer screens in there. But even without the stickers, you know, you've got the stickers just put like a signia on there, like it belongs to a certain company. But if you leave them off, then you know this could be anything. And considering it's also white, you could pretend it is a you know, a hospital helicopter, so you can cram your patients in there and send them off to the hospital. Yeah, so that's just a helicopter, and I think it looks really neat. It's definitely got interesting design with the side things going on here, and it's pretty well built up and designed. It doesn't use a lot of large pieces. I mean, you got the skids, which, you know, you could easily build something that looks like that, and the, you know, the cockpit window is pretty standard fare, and then of course the old-fashioned propeller that works for every helicopter ever. But yeah, now this fits on top of the building, which I'm going to show. Yeah, we'll do that when we actually do the building. Let's switch. I think we'll move on to that next, anyways. Let's move on to the first building here. I wouldn't quite say it's the biggest building. As far as piece counts, I think they're about the same. Although, if this building was a solid building, it would definitely be bigger than the other one. But I love the use of these window pieces to make this curve here. And they do it really well on the second building. This one, I mean, it works well, but I think it looks better with that. Gives it a nice rounded screen. It's a window that's meant to go like this, but they build it this way, and it's really nice how they do it. And I also just plain like the kind of glass building that this is supposed to be. We've got a antenna up top here, communications. Nothing really fancy there, it's just on a swivel hinge. Move into the side here, we got a lot more. Got some lovely plants here. We also have a video camera for security reasons, I suppose, since this is essentially open and doesn't close. It's a door, but this door, it's not quite right because I'm going to hit it with the vehicle, is the garage for the little ATV. Rolls right up in there. Very nice. And rolls right back out. But it's got stoppers in there, so it doesn't roll too far, and it kind of holds it just a little bit. There's some of those grid pieces in there that, well, we'll take a look at. We're going to move it around anyways. But it's nice to have a building that also doesn't have breakaway windows like so many of the Jurassic World sets do that I've done so far. But yeah, here is the back. Let's move it a little bit kind of cockeyed so you can see everything. There's a lot going on in here, which I like. I like this. Again, it's not a whole building. You would still have another 2 walls here, a roof, but you wouldn't be able to access any of this. And they had a lot in here, even though technically these floors would also be a lot larger. But plenty to do and play here. You got your garage. Like I said, I just shoved that out. There's some, if I can put that in there. Those orange pieces right there. They help hold it in place, give it a little friction, rather than the smooth part here. So it still rolls out really easy like you saw, but it doesn't fly out quite so bad. I got some kind of, I don't know, something here. Extinguisher in case the thing catches on fire. or some kind of air pump. That's what I believe it is. It's some kind of air pump. We do have a yellow extinguisher there, which is a strange color for an extinguisher. Up here we have Dr. Wu's office, and we have a little skull here of something or other. No idea what it's supposed to be. Horned dinosaur of some kind, I guess, but it's... don't know. But it's kind of cute. He's got a swivel chair. Isn't he nice? Lovely little computer. And his yellow mug that he is apparently famous for. And he's got his coffee machine over there with another yellow mug. So he doesn't have just one. He's got a matching set. Got to keep them full all the time. We also have some shelves back in here. And I believe that's supposed to be like amber and stuff on there. Probably specimens that they've gotten to get dinosaur DNA from. We have more computers here. Now, I don't know if these are supposed to be computers or just some like monitors for giving information for dinosaurs. Well, this is supposed to be more of a... I don't know. I mean, he's got his desk and stuff in there, so... And you got stuff going on down in here in the laboratory, but then, yeah. So I don't know what these are supposed to be exactly. Maybe these are supposed to be monitoring the two dinosaurs that are in this set that apparently broke out of their padlock. We don't actually have any padlock pieces in this set. But let's. Moving down to the first floor, like I said, you got your vehicle, got a wrench here to fix your vehicle if you need to. And then we have a microscope looking at some amber, probably trying to see if there's anything in there. And then there's just this empty thing. Now, I think Dr. Grant, the amber trunk that Dr. Grant is supposed to have on it, is supposed to go... actually, I think it's supposed to go on here. I don't know what's supposed to go on the blank one. There wasn't anything in the set. There's no stud there to connect it to. Meanwhile, this has a stud like that. And this is supposed to be the DNA extractor to get to the DNA out of the amber. And let's turn it around a little bit more. And we have an incubator here. And this has computer monitors here and here. Displaying things. Now I think this one's supposed to maybe go to the camera that's on the other side, but there are stickers on there for those, just like with all these computers. Don't put them on, that's up to you. It does help improve the appearance of what they're going for, but that's a choice that you have to make. Now, moving along to the corner here, we have some plants, and we also have our walkie charging station, I guess, because there's two walkies here, just kind of plugged in. It's interesting how the outside corners have some kind of utility function, like that's got some kind of hazmat thing or fire control system, and this one's got walkie-talkies for emergencies. But that is most of the building there. I do like how it's designed to be very clear and you can see through it. The helipad's nice on top. Oh yes, we gotta look at the helipad. There's the helipad sitting on the corner, which it does look a little awkward there, especially when you consider the size of a helicopter, of this helicopter. There are smaller Lego helicopters, and it looks kind of like going to tip the building over. It doesn't. The building's sturdy enough, but if it was a whole building, this maybe wouldn't look quite so awkward. Now the helipad's nice because it's designed, the H for the helipad also has these rails on it, so that your struts on there can fit nice, and it's not going to slide off from the building. So it's not going to tip over the building, and it's not going to slide off the building. and it sits nice and tight in there. They have smooth studs here, and then they have the little cheese wedge piece on either side, and it sits right in between those two struts right there, and holds it in place really well on both sides. So, bunk, nice place, and you got your ladder going up to it. Doesn't quite work getting to the cockpit, but you know, what can you do? Got to use some of your imagination. So let's move on to the last. Here is the tower, which is our last building here. You can see there's the base. I really like, you know, they added some foliage and rock looking outcrops, so it's not so barren looking and looks like it's part of the environment. Which is definitely helpful. I don't know where this is supposed to be located, if it's supposed to be right next to the other building. It seems like they wouldn't have an observation tower that close to the building, but who knows. But yeah, this is designed to be good and sturdy. This is not going to tip over. You got plenty of weight on the bottom, and the building techniques in here are designed to make it good and sturdy, so it's not going to break off as well. But something is meant to be broken, and that is right here. See, there's this railing here, but there's only side rails here and not going across the front. Why, I don't know. But there's a switch right here. You pull it out, doing, and the front falls down. I guess the dinosaur is supposed to be attacking this, the Giganotosaurus. And this looks really nice. You know, you can't really tell that that's supposed to break away here. I mean, yeah, there's just a single rod here, but that could just be, you know, choice with construction. Now, getting this curved piece on here was a bit of a challenge, and I was just worried. I didn't want to like put a permanent bend in it. You want to curve it, not make it bend. So it was kind of nerve-wracking, but it ended up working out okay. I definitely would try not to use too much force. But like I said, this uses the windows. Like I said in the other video, it used the windows here to built sideways to give this nice, lovely curved appearance, and it works great, and it works well with the other curves of these bricks. It just looks so good. Such a nice, you know, angle curve to the structure. Now, it's got this brick here. It's kind of weird looking, but it's more or less a handle, so you can. Let's see. Let's move this up a little bit here. So we're done with the bottom. But the top up here has got this little handle, and it's designed so you can pop this off and have better access for your figures inside here, which is not too much inside. We have emergency phone, I believe that's what that is, and some monitors here. We'll probably add more stickers. Now those are probably more for, you know, giving you information on the dinos that are in there. We have some other structures here along the outside, and with the phone right next to the phone, there's an antenna here, so it's probably attached to that internally. But yep, this is nicely designed to have a. I think I put that on backwards. Yeah, doesn't matter which way it goes, or it fits either way, but it looks better like this. Now we only have one ladder piece, which there's a bit of a drop. even for minifigure scale, you know, that's maybe a 30-foot drop, 20-foot drop. I guess you have to use your imagination about the rest of the ladder pieces, or use the rest of your collection to have more ladder pieces. But there's not a lot going on inside there, but there is plenty of room for play in there. And I just knocked some stuff off. But, and then you can, I don't know how you access the outside. I just thought about that. Because these side things are in the way, so you wouldn't be able to walk around the outside. But if this is in an area where there's big dinosaurs, I don't think you would want to anyways. So I'm not sure how that works. And there's probably, maybe when we watch the movie, I have a feeling this is actually a structure that was in the movie. There's probably a door that goes out there. But we'll see. Welcome back to the desk, and we are now going to give this a final eval. Now this is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to give it a final eval score. We're not touching price score, and we'll be doing this from now on with the newer sets until things with the economy and things just settle down. We'll talk a little bit more about that afterwards. I'm going to discuss the price, and we're going to discuss why and stuff later. I might even make a separate video about that someday, but this is going to be my first video talking about it, so I am going to talk about it. Overall, I like this set. There's a lot going on. I mean, not just with the dinos, but the other stuff as well. There's some cool builds with, like, the vehicles, with the helicopter and the little ATV. And the buildings themselves are pretty nice. This one's a little bit more simpler than this, but there's still a lot going on with this, which is what I can appreciate. I mean, a building is going to be simple. I mean, you can make it more complex, but simple's okay as well. So, going for appearance, there's the thing, everything looks great here. The only complaints, minor complaints, is, and it's more or less when you actually do something with it, is this dino with his neck. If you pose it just right, he looks like he broke his neck. That doesn't look good. Other than that, everything looks fine. I love the looks of the helicopter. This looks great. The building looks great. The ATV looks great. All the characters look great for the most part. There's always the opacity issue with certain areas. That's par for the course. I think Lego needs to just hire one person to go through every minifigure, or even every print, although I don't know that I've ever had problems with just regular prints, and just make sure that a quality check. And if the figures do not come out right, then they do whatever setting they have to do with the machines or whatever to make them paint over it more than once. That's usually what the issue is. They just need another coat of paint or two. But other than that, there's really nothing wrong with the appearance of this. And those were more nitpicks than anything. Although we'll talk more about that neck in the next part. But as far as appearance is going to get, it's getting a 10. It's a very nice looking set all around. Now, function. Let's start with the bad. Him. This is probably the weakest part of this set as far as function goes. They needed to do something different with this neck, and potentially the body as well. I know they wanted to reuse body parts, and that's a reused body part, and they only had to make a new neck and head piece. But it needs a little bit more than that, because you bend the head just right, and it looks like he's broken. And they could have done something a little bit different with the claws. The claws aren't bad, and they function well, but they could have done just a little bit more to them to make it better. Other than that, everything works great. The the tower looks good, and the breakaway function here, it works fine. The nice being able to taking the top off is really good. The helicopters, open doors, the propellers work nice. I love the simplicity of this, but it works so great at holding this down. Well, that's if you land it right. I'm a bad pilot, apparently. But yeah, you got open, closed doors. Nothing too fancy there, but they work. The nice little garage here, although simple and doesn't have anything really moving functionality to it, is very useful for parking the vehicle. And they made smooth ramps for it. They designed the back half with a little bit more friction so it doesn't roll away quite so easily. The vehicle itself rolls good. It's nice. It's got clips on the back for accessories for whatever you need. Yeah, so function would be a 10, but it's getting a 9 because of this, and also, oh yes, and also this guy here. And the thing about functionality with this guy is not really a design. Like, even with this guy, this was a pre-design thing. Like the people that built this set, that designed the structures and built it, had nothing to do with the actual designs of the dinosaurs. These were done by somebody else, I'm pretty sure. So, but it's still function issues. His neck and the fact that this guy has no studs on him whatsoever. That's my biggest issue, probably. This I can almost forgive because I know what they're trying to do, reuse parts or whatever. But this guy should have some studs on him, just to make him stand out. He's not just a plastic dinosaur; he's a Lego dinosaur. So yeah, function ended up getting a 9 rather than a 10. Even though everything else works great, the dinosaurs are the weakest part as far as function concerns. They don't look bad though, but that's where the set is kind of is hurting the most, is with the dinosaurs in the way of function. Now, on to fun. There's a lot here to do. This is a very fun set. Even if you took the dinosaurs away, which, dinosaurs add to the fun, but even if you took the dinosaurs away, there's a lot to do. Because if you look, you got some kind of story going on with going out and getting amber and stuff, because even though there are egg incubators here, there's also the extracting device for the DNA from the amber. There's some amber storage up here. There's this vehicle that looks like it's supposed to be going out looking for amber because it also has a mining pick on it. And then you have the helicopter that's just fun to play with by itself. You have the neat thing going on here with this building, although I think this is supposed to work more with the dinosaurs, with the breaking of the thing, and it's obviously an observation area for the dinosaurs. So there's a lot to be had with fun. There's a lot of different characters, figures. Some of these characters I'm not too familiar with. Well, mostly one, but you have those to work with, to play with, and this set is a ton of fun, and I gave it a 10. So much here. Like I said, even if you took the dinosaurs away, it'd still be good. Now, techniques. Dinosaurs they get wiped out of the technique study. There's really nothing buildable technique there. I mean, one could talk about this guy's claws or whatever, but dinosaurs aside, there's some really nice design techniques in these buildings, how they use the parts, I mean, this could have been plain and simple, but inside there is built into this the function of the breaking, and that's great in and of itself. And then there's all the little, other side things like the phone area, emergency phone area, and the antenna and stuff here. Even the other building, there's the plants outside, which building technique there really isn't too much fancy about them. I think they've done stuff like this before, but the garage, the ATV itself is a very unique build and different usage of parts and how it's built. Helicopter, oh boy, lots of different. This is a very unique built helicopter, which is why it's also a very unique looking helicopter. And inside you got all the little tidbits and small builds inside that are uniquely done as well. Not too many, but there's some here. So as far as technique goes, this thing is getting a 10 also. That brings the overall grade. If you take everything up, add it, and divide by 4, get it 9.75. And of course, we round that up. That gives this thing a 10. Yes, this is a really great set. Now to talk about some of the bummer news. I don't like the price of this set. We're not going to give it a grade because I don't even know what to grade it with anymore. We're dealing with inflation, and Legos tends to, prices slowly creep up with them anyways, but with stuff going on with the economy, a lot more is changing, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, how Lego's dealing with that, because Lego is dealing with it. And it's a smart way of doing it. You just might not be happy with everything. So you do the math here. It's $129.99. That's retail value. If you get it cheaper, good job for you. But $129.99, 810 pieces. You do the math, and it's a whopping 16 cents per piece, and that's way above standard. 6 cents above standard. Yeah, that's the thing. Our standard might need to change to at least maybe 12 cents per piece. But if we do that, maybe 12, 13. But this set is still overpriced with that, and that's where we're going to be talking about here shortly. But yeah, this set I feel be better at around approximately $100. Even, $110 maybe, that'd be okay. It's a great set. It's just the prices aren't that great. And regarding that, going forward, like I said, I'm not going to put a price grade on these. We might talk about price a little bit. But what I've seen Lego been doing with the prices is they've raised the prices on everything, just slightly, and some more so on others. The smaller sets are cheaper, meaning the price per part ratio is cheaper. They've raised them a little bit, like $30 sets have gone up to $35, but there's $10 sets and stuff that are still $10. I don't know if they're $10 worth of stuff. I haven't actually got my hands on any of those sets yet to really see that, but the smaller sets are cheaper, and the bigger sets, like this one, are more expensive. And I know it sounds terrible, but Lego's got to do something so they can get sales. And the thing is, they still want to sell you Legos, and I know people still want to buy Legos, but people aren't going to be able to afford the more expensive prices. So to keep the smaller sets down, lower, the bigger sets are more expensive. That's a very good strategy, because a lot of the people that are buying the smaller sets aren't going to buy the bigger sets anyways. And the fact that they're more expensive is even more reason why they aren't going to be expensive. But if you're already going to buy those expensive sets, dishing out another $10, $20, maybe even $30 for something you really want, you're more likely to do. And the reason why they're doing this is so they will sell more of the smaller sets and get more money for them. Sell less of the bigger sets, but still make money off them because of the higher price. And in the end, it's going to balance out with them. You know, your wallet may argue so differently, but that is what's going on with the prices. I mean, we probably would have seen a little bit of a hike, anyways, if it wasn't for all the other things going on, which we're not going to discuss that. This is not a channel for that. But that's what we're going to deal with the pricing from here on out. So I really like the set, but the price is a bit of a stinker. If you really like dinosaurs and you can afford this, you really like Jurassic World. I mean, I don't know. Movies got to come out yet to see what significance the set has on the movie. Like, how accurate are these to the movie? Are these buildings even in the movie? Pretty sure the dinosaurs are. We've seen little bits of this guy. Haven't seen this guy in a trailer yet. But yeah, going forward is going to be touch and go, and we're probably just not going to do the grades. Now, I have some older sets I'm going to do, and I'm still going to continue at pressing grades to them until they get really old, and then we're probably going to drop them again. Yeah. And there's one thing about having these sets before the movie comes out and seeing them. You don't have anything to judge anything. No biasness, like, oh, that doesn't look like it did in the movie or anything like that. So you can judge them without that biasness, which I think is kind of nice. And these sets look really great, even if they don't look like exactly like they look like in the movie. I know I talked about this guy and his tail didn't have any feathers, and we actually haven't seen the creature in the movie, but I've seen other toys that have given him feathers. So, he still looks great, even though he doesn't look entirely accurate to the movie. So let me know what you guys think about all this, including the price issues going on and stuff. And yes, this is a Jurassic World set, so there's also just the simple licensing extra too, but it's happening with the other stuff like Ninjago and everything else. I've noticed the price changes and how they've gradated the price with the sets going up. The bigger sets are costing more than the smaller sets. It's a clever move, like I said, on them. But tell me what you guys think and what you think of this set. I enjoyed it. It was fun to put together, and I am disappointed with the dinosaur here. Probably my biggest disappointment is no studs on this guy. But let me know what you guys think, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, of course, and share it with others. And if you haven't subscribed or new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Also check out my links for Twitter and Facebook down below. I know sometimes if you follow me on any of those, you will definitely get updates. YouTube doesn't always send out updates right away, but I send out those updates on those personally myself. Don't leave a robot do it like YouTube does it, and it gets right out there. So you can sign up for up there, though please subscribe as well. I need the subscribers. And leave comments below, of course, like I said. So that's it for me here at the Creation Evaluation Station, reminding you that creativity is key.